Y'all would like to join me for the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, if we could please get a roll call.
Chairperson Davis,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Ezell.
Here.
Commissioner Lance, Commissioner Sherrill,
Here.
Commissioner Souter.
Here.
If everyone could please take a moment and review the minutes from the February 14th meeting. And at which time, if everyone could please advise if they've had a moment to review the minutes.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes from February 14th meeting.
Second.
Good. We have a motion and a second for the meeting minutes.
Vice Chairperson Ezell, Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. This time, do we have any communication or comments in regards to the minutes or our meeting from the general public before we get started? Okay. Okay, if we could, go ahead and start tonight. The first case on the agenda will be 1604 Glomont Drive. This is a show cause hearing with anyone interest in the property to be present.
Ms. Sanders is here.
Okay, great, thank you. For the record, could you give us your name and your relation to the property?
Courtney Sanders, and I'm the property manager,
Okay, and that is for,
Dorby Property Management.
and do you have her contact information? All right, so what are we looking at here? Looks like y'all have pulled up the floor.
Yes, so I did go out and was able to conduct an interior inspection with one of their, what you would call it? With someone from the property. He let us walk through both sides. The chief building official did go out there with me just because I wanted some extra eyes to look at everything. Upon my findings, the structural integrity raises concern just due to the water damage that's gone just over time. In both of those units, the floors are falling in, the joists are pretty bad. There's obviously standing water that you can see in a lot of those pictures. The units are also shifted just due to the foundation and water damage with the flooring system. They have reached out to a structural engineer. That report should be back hopefully next week. And they do know that all work is supposed to be, stopped until we do get that report back and are able to kind of move in and go further with it. With that, yeah, that's where we are with it, so.
Does that include any of the outside work that needs to be done to?
To the structure, yes, but if they want to start working on the drainage issue just in the back with the overgrown grass, et cetera, where it's kind of blocking that little easement for the water, that's fine by all means. And I did allow them, or let them know that if, they want to try to get a pump under there to get that water out, I was okay with that, trying to get the water out from under the house.
Okay.
I take it structural engineer can't get under the house looking at the depth of this water.
Possibly not, no, that space looks,
The water is all the way up to the subfloor.
it was close, so I think Unit B is on the right side. Unit B was worse than Unit A, that you could see from the bathroom. So I think it honestly just depends on when it's rained last and how hard it's rained. And I don't know if it maybe just kind of runs in its natural flow to the right side more than the left, but it's definitely not as bad as B.
Do we have an idea of when the structural engineer can come out or look at it, or?
Should be getting the report back next week.
Okay, awesome.
He's already looked at it.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and then from there, we can just move forward and figure out what needs to be done. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
The only thing I would say, if you're gonna allow them to do the dirt work, just to verify that the dirt work is sloped towards that ditch, so it gets out the front and out the way it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
And,
Guess I'll make a motion,
uh,
we pass this to the April 10th meeting, since you won't get a report for another week or two.
Okay, awesome, and everything at the duplex is secure, right? There's no, okay, awesome. I just want to make sure with the work, people going in and out, looking at things, I want to make sure that there's no way somebody could get in there. Okay, we have a motion to pass to April 10th.
I need a second.
I'm sorry.
You need a second.
Do we have a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill. Yes. Commissioner Souder,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes,
Okay, so it passed unanimously?
yes, passed to April unanimously. So just come back in April.
April 10th, 5:30. Absolutely.
Okay. The next one is 4320 Greenbrier Road. This is a show cause as well for interest in the property to be present.
Yes, so, Mr. Spurlock did come in today and meet with me at about 4:15. His job, he's an older gentleman, he works Monday through Wednesday. So I told him I wasn't worried about him being here, because he gave me all the information I need. I did not get an admin warrant for this one because I knew that I was going to meet with him, and I wanted to see if I could just get information from him rather than going that route. I'm gonna go out next Thursday and meet with him in person, so I can do a walkthrough of that house and kind of see what's going on. I'm also gonna get with the fire department and look at the report a little bit more and determine the amount of fire damage that the property has undergone. With that being said, he did get the exterior cleaned up. He got a dumpster out there. It sat like that for the longest because they were waiting on insurance, et cetera. He still is currently having that battle with State Farm, trying to figure out what he's gonna get back for the fire damage, et cetera. From what I hear, it sounds like they're trying to cut a little bit of corners and only fix what's gone through the damage.
Is he living there?
No.
Okay.
I do have a new address for him, for just the temporary until he figures that out, so we can send that. And I have a contact or phone number for him to contact him too.
His name was Spurlock.
Yes. Last name.
Okay.
So you're going next Thursday to do a
Yes.
walkthrough?
Yes. I also told him that, obviously we didn't know that he was at a different, we assumed he was at a separate dwelling, but we didn't know for sure. So since I got that, I told him that we would mail it there, but also just send it regular mail to the 4320 Greenbrier. That way, when he told me he goes to check the mail, but you know as well as I know that when they post on that structure, if you're not at the post office in time, then it comes back to me. So, and I also told him that I'd bring a hard copy with me when I meet with him on Thursday, just so he has it in hand.
Motion to pass at the April 10th meeting to allow you time for your walkthrough.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souder,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, this next one is 5417 Marion Avenue. This is also a show cause. Is anyone here for 5717 Marion Avenue? Okay, have you heard anything from Ms. Beard?
So apparently that is a Mr. Beard.
Mr. Beard, I apologize.
I didn't know either. So there's a woman that apparently owned it before it was transferred into Micah's name. Micah's her son. She
okay.
reached out to Michael Pettyjohn, which is the other code enforcement officer in our department. And he also gave them a call yesterday to let them know to be here today, and they were under the impression to be here today. They were supposed to, when they first called us, which is when the first order went out that I received the certified signed green card back on, they called Mr. Pettyjohn because he's dealt with them before in AHO, and he instructed Mr. Pettyjohn that they were gonna be out 2 to 3 days, you know, depending on weather, et cetera, to get it cleaned up. I've yet to see any efforts to get it cleaned up. And they also knew to be here today, and they said, we're gonna work on it, we're gonna get it together. And again, I've yet to see anything happen.
Now, Mr. Beard doesn't live in it, correct? It's rental?
Your guess is as good as mine. There's a car there sometimes, and then there's not a car there, and not to make it even more confusing, Animal Services has had to deal with this house before too. So I kinda asked them for some information on it, just cause they've dealt with the people that are there. It is rented, but it's not rented, but they travel a lot, so they're not always home. It's a really weird situation.
Yesterday afternoon, there were 2 cars and a truck, so, in the driveway.
I think the past couple of days, there's been like a van there. I don't necessarily know who.
And so the other enforcement officer called Micah?
Yesterday.
And did they communicate at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He let him know, because we kind of work together on different things, especially
Right.
if he's talked to these people before. Let them know that they needed to be here today at 5:30 to be in front of you guys, and asked, you know, when are you guys going to get work going on this? Like, he did go ahead and fair warn him that if they didn't start and show progress, that you guys did have the authority to order a cleanup on it. He was aware, said that he would be here.
Well, that's just concerning. Has Animal Service had to go back out again about the animal being tied up?
Not that
Are
I
you
know
not
of.
aware of? Last time I was there, I tried to go back there today, but there was some activity in the area and I didn't make that turn. But that was one of them that I was wanting to go see and see if the poor pup was still tied up to the tree out front, you know. Again, just like there was another one here, I'm worried about the inside as much as the outside too, you know.
Were they aware that from our last meeting, they had 30 days to start the cleanup?
I would assume so. They signed for the notice. Now, what they take from that notice, I
Right.
can't answer for that.
What are suggestions?
Suggestions would be that you get a estimate on having it cleaned up. Like you have to
Yeah.
get 3 bids to clean it up, right? 3 estimates?
Technically not it depends on the cost. As long as it comes in under 10,000, it doesn't have to necessarily go in front of council. Our city manager can approve that. It just depends on what the cost would be. Honestly, if you guys are okay with it, and we can be in agreement, I say pass it 1 more month. Let me make them meet me out there in person, and let them know that this is their last opportunity to take care of it. Up to you, but.
I just worry about the weather getting warmer. There's containers with water sitting in them, mosquitoes, just all that debris. There's a lot. It's a lot.
If you guys do agree to that and decide to go that route, I'll do my best to get with them either tomorrow or Friday if they have some time and go out in person on the property.
So they've had fines from AHO. Have they paid those fines? So having a lien for the cleanup may not be fruitful either, other than getting it cleaned up.
I mean, yeah, it'll be cleaned up, but essentially it'll just be another lien.
I guess my concern is I would like it to be cleaned up and stay that way, because I understand this has happened once before. And,
That was
Friends
when
and
it was rented.
neighbors.
That was another owner, and people were renting it, and neighbors helping neighbors went out and cleaned it up, because it would look like that.
it turns into a nuisance almost, you know, for the people around, the neighbors. Yeah. Okay.
So you want 1 more month?
I do. It's up to you.
How-
Motion to pass at the April 10th meeting to allow codes time to get with Mr. Beard.
We have a motion. Just need a second. How quick would a crew be able to clean it up if, say, you go, you go out there and it comes back April 10th and there's still nothing done? How quick could we have someone over there to clean it up?
Is there a reason that we couldn't get bids in the interim and have the bids good for 30 days?
Could we do
Because
that?
then you've got both, I mean, that's two birds.
That
with
way
one
we can
stone.
go ahead and jump on it if they don't comply.
I'm fine with that too.
I'd like to amend the motion to get 3 bids, to have cleanup. Give Coates an opportunity to reach out to Mr. Beard, prior to the April 10th meeting.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell. Commissioner Cheryl.
Yes.
Commissioner Souter.
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, the next one is 1646 Keeble Street. Another show cause, with all parties having an interest in the property to be present, please. Are you here for that property? Hi. Yes.
You guys are here for 1646 Keeble Street, correct? Okay.
When were these pictures taken?
March 5th, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to compare here.
They were taken March 5th.
I just printed them today.
When I drove by yesterday, there was a dumpster full there in the driveway.
Yes, we just had one.
We've been working on it, sir.
Good,
And we've got the truck and the trailer loaded for the first of many loads to the Eastridge dump.
excellent. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask your names?
My name's Robin Manus, and this is my husband Steve Owensby. My uncle Michael Lawson owns the property.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Elderly.
If you could repeat your name?
Robin Manus,
Robin.
Yes.
And Manus, can you spell that for me?
M-A-N-U-S.
Okay, Ann.
Steve
Steve
Owensby.
Owensby, O-W-E-N-S-B-Y.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so, when Coates was out, on the 6th of February, it was from a concern of, the egress issues, the debris, making sure that all the egresses were cleared. And so, and this was just on the 5th of March, right?
Yes, you guys ordered, you
Right.
wanted an interior inspection. I was able to conduct that same day I got these pictures.
Okay.
Interior's fine. I didn't see any concerns. I mean, nothing out of my way to really push for inside stuff. I did ask them just to make sure they had, just a few things around the doors, just make sure that those are clear, just in case. But other than that, interior was fine. They were working on the exterior. We had a, good conversation about that. They're showing me efforts, so.
That's a big yard. I didn't realize
Just
it
need
was
some
so
more
big.
time, but we would definitely get it and keep it.
So you're renting a dumpster from Eastridge and just having it filled, you're
We rented
filling it?
a dumpster from Budget Dumpster.
Okay.
And when they came out, they said they could help us get a pass with the Eastridge dump, or we can go more than twice a month to take garbage. So,
Okay,
we're on it.
awesome.
So you need 30 days to do it?
Like
60 days?
Probably more like 60.
Okay,
Get it done in 60?
Yes, I think so.
okay. Well, it looks like y'all have been working really hard to get it done. Okay,
I'll make a motion, we pass this to the May 8th meeting to allow them 60 days to get it cleaned up and stay in touch with codes
yes.
so that they can
Yeah.
report at the next meeting how
Yeah,
progress is
okay.
going.
Yeah. Tori, do you have contact information for Robin? Okay, awesome, great, thank you. Thank you. Yep. Okay.
If
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second to pass to May 8th.
Vice Chairperson Ezell. Commissioner Sherrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Souter.
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes.
It's so hard to dispose of mattresses at dumps. It's just because they don't break down.
Yeah, don't stake them.
Why don't they create a business where I just burn them?
Why don't we have a garbage burner downtown?
Okay.
We tried.
Other attorneys.
They talked about it for a long time, but they decided
All the way.
Save $10,000 and ship our stuff to Bradley at overtime pay.
Previously. Okay.
He fills in from,
Lake Birchwood's closed now.
They pick up mattresses from the street.
Yeah, but I don't know where they take them. Yeah,
Oh, I don't
I'm
know.
not sure what they do. I used to deal with a lady down in Rossville. She ran this old storage place. Sell used mattresses to people under the table. That was disgusting.
There's always a business for something, I guess. What does he want to get rid of? Okay.
We're gonna get that out of it. Thank you for your efforts.
Much.
Y'all welcome, thank y'all.
Yes, yeah, motion and second. So y'all are good. We'll see you guys back in May. Thank y'all.
Okay.
60 days.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next is State Line Road, 57. I apologize. Next on the agenda is 5729 State Line Road. Update on progress from February 14 meeting. Owner and engineer to be present. I don't see either. So the saga continues.
I did meet in person with the owner, and he advised me that even though it wasn't listed, all the labor and materials were included in that bid. I assumed, but I think something we kind of need to keep in mind is he works with these contractors all the time on tons of houses that he flips. So I already knew that it was gonna come in on the low end because he wants to salvage that house. That's really all I've got. I told him to be present for this meeting today, and that you guys wanted the engineer. He told me that he was not bringing the engineer here and that he was going to contact his attorney. So I will let Mr. Holloway.
Just before the commission begins its deliberations on this, I do want to let the commission know, Mr. Litchford and I did receive communication from a Philip Meyer here in Chattanooga. He's an attorney at Meyer and Burnett downtown, represented to us that he represents the property owner and its member, Mr. Spencer. Expressed some concerns that it appears the commission has, quote, in his words, reneged in February, reneged on its order from January. In discussing this issue with Mr. Litchford and Officer Holder here, looking at the past minutes and past orders that have been put down, it appears that the property was initially put into condemnation, and then that condemnation was stayed for either a set number of days or until today's meeting, one or the other, I'm not certain, for the property owner to have the structural engineer come in here and essentially offer testimony to this commission as to the condition of the property. I do not think that a structural engineer is going to be able, if this were circuit court downtown, I do not think a structural engineer is going to be competent to testify to a judge what the repair costs would be, because the structural engineer, by definition, is not a contractor. They're not a builder. They evaluate the conditions of the structure and report on that. They don't report on value, et cetera. All that being said, it's my understanding this commission has previously put down an order that effectively stayed condemnation until today, based on whatever evidence the property owner and its representatives may present to this commission. Property owner and its representatives are not here today to present any evidence to the commission that would warrant continuing the stay or otherwise completely reversing this commission's previous order. So it is, from speaking to Mr. Litchford, it is the city attorney's position that the commission is valid in moving forward with the demolition order that has already put down. I just think a new order lifting the stay and proceeding with the demolition is all that would need to be taken. All that would need to
No
be
one's
put down.
here to validate the
And
structural engineer report.
again,
That's questionable.
we know that they were given ample notice to be here.
Yeah.
Mr. Litchford and I was copied on the emails, but Mr. Litchford communicated via email with Mr. Meyer about this matter. And it's my understanding from speaking to Mr. Litchford earlier today that Mr. Meyer has not communicated with him since that email. So they did not reach back out with further communications, nor have they appeared here today to address this body.
They submitted the packet, and there's a lot of questions that came up in our last meeting about just the structural integrity from this report. It says that it's been corrected, yet it's still sloping. So there's just a lot of questions and no communication from the owner. Which we even passed it to tonight to give them another opportunity to come forward. And with the stop order, has anyone been working out there even with the, okay.
Question, would that require two motions? One to lift and one to
Yes.
forward?
It's probably safest to put, that's two different things rather than
Correct, yeah. I make the motion to lift the, standing order right now. Stop work, thank you. Couldn't think of the word.
If we have a motion, a second to lift the stop work order.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souder,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. So with that lifted,
I'll make a
Would we-
motion that we continue with the demolition like we originally was going to.
And before there's a second on that motion, I do want to instruct that I think that whatever demolition date that this body elects needs to be no less than 11 days from today's date, because the property owner does have 10 days with which to appeal this body's decision to the city council. And we do not want to tear down a piece of property and then they appeal it.
okay, so that would. No less, so. Let's do working days.
And yes, business days is definitely the safest.
So that would be the 28th of March,
Is that the 10th day from today or the 11th day? If you start-
starting tomorrow.
Okay.
11 days. The 11th day would be Thursday, the 28th, so we could go the 29th to be safe, which is a
That's
Friday.
That's a great day.
That's, Good Friday.
28th is Monday, Thursday. Does it make it any better?
Monday's April Fool's, so.
I mean, in the interest of this being, it's my understanding the property is not fit for human habitation. It's in condemnation. the liability that could pose for the property owner, for the city, allowing it to continue in that state for 30 days, is not worth the risk. And so I would think that if we know what the 10th day from tomorrow is, it's probably prudent to set the demolition for whatever the 11th day from tomorrow is. Because tomorrow, the timeline to appeal will begin tomorrow, and it will end at end of business or midnight on that 10th day.
So they don't they have 10 days from after you contact them, or 10 days from when we get done today?
Tomorrow.
I think it's 10 days from when this body decides, which would start tomorrow.
Okay.
And the orders, I mean, we'll get the orders prepared and sent out immediately.
Okay.
And then it
Let-
might be prudent for myself and Mr. Litchford to notify Mr. Meyer of this commission's actions ahead of the orders going out and instruct him on the proper appellate procedure should they wish to proceed that route.
The only thing I wanted to add too is if we do it on the 29th, with that being Good Friday, us not being in office, I don't know if I would have a demo guy on that day. That's the only thing I want to be cautious of.
That day is 28th, is it not?
I think we're gonna push it to
Yeah.
the 29th to be safe, but
Which is Good Friday. Honestly, I don't think it makes a difference if we push it to Monday, April 1st.
I just don't want y'all to put your expectations
no.
high on me and I'll be done that day.
Okay, if we could get that in the form of a motion.
So we want a motion to start demo on the house at 5729 State Line Road on April 1st.
Is that the motion? I second.
We have a motion and a second for demo on April 1st of 5729 State Line Road.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souder,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, the next on the agenda is 2115 Eldridge Road, update on progress from January 10th.
I have been in very good communication with the owners. I did ask them to be here. I don't know why they are not. However, I do have some good updates. They have cut out that wall that was starting to fall in. What they did was they just braced it just with some framework and put up a tarp to try to withhold the water, just because they are not sure yet of what they are wanting to do. They were going to sell. I had someone reach out to me asking about the property, and he told me it just wasn't worth his time. The owners did meet with Mr. Howe, I want to say earlier, well, no, I don't know if it was this week, last week, Monday? He met with him on Monday. Mr. Howe did do an entire walkthrough to be upfront with Mr. Luke, just to kind of let him know what was going on and what was to be expected to be corrected besides that wall. Mr. Howe did find some issues with the foundation. It needs some slight foundation repair. Nothing that's necessarily needs to be demolished. It can be fixed. However, it just depends on if they want to go that route. Mr. Luke doesn't necessarily know which route he wants to take, but I do know it is secure. He does have a temporary fix, or that's what you want to call it, on that wall. So I know that there's no moisture going in. And like I said, he's reached out to Mr. Howe. So he's showing me the initiative to kind of move forward and get his options set. It's not just sitting. But that's kind of where I am with it.
So has he got a timeline when he's going to decide what he wants to do, that you know of?
Not that I know of, no. I think he wanted to meet with Mr. Howe first, and Mr. Howe's been a little backed up just because we're kind of understaffed on different areas, so he's tried to get out as fast as he can to meet with him. You guys are more than welcome to put a timeline if you want to. Just so I can get,
And the house is secure and it's no threat to,
no.
Did you say that you thought he was gonna be here tonight? Think he would be here for the next meeting?
I will make sure of it. I'll send him an email, call him, all the above if need be.
30 days to make up his mind,
yeah.
find a direction.
So do we have a motion?
I would make a motion to give him 30 days to show up,
Okay, so pass this.
speak with Mr. Howell.
We have a motion.
Pass it to the April 10th meeting.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell, Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Next is 4802 Madonna Avenue. Do we have an update on when? We have a packet.
Thank you. I was about cutting down trees, Jeff.
Oh. Looks like the tree's growing through the house.
So,
Oh, no.
In cabins.
Oh. I don't know why this breaks my heart, it just does. No one is here for that property, correct?
there's no next of kin there.
One we couldn't find.
Yes. So I was able to get an admin warrant on this one to go do an interior inspection like requested. I actually did that yesterday. So I went from top to bottom. I went in the attic. I went under the house to look under the house. It obviously has undergone serious water damage. The kitchen floor has fallen, that flooring system, the joists are shot. The bathroom is gonna have to be torn out completely and redone. All 3 bedrooms have damage, so when you first walk into the house, through the front door, the living room looks fine. I was thinking, oh, okay, like maybe it's not gonna be as bad as I thought. Walked through the little dining room, it was fine. Then you got to the kitchen. Then you got to the other little separate room. Then you got to the bathroom and the other bedrooms. And it's not like the entire wall has issues. It's just certain corners in each room that have obviously undergone the damage. Because it has sat for so long and no work has commenced and it's not been able to be patched up, etc., and water keeps coming in. One of the rooms, I went to touch the wall just to see if it was fragile, what we were working with, and my foot went through that wall. So therefore, it's not very good. There's a lot of stress cracks in the walls as well, which leads me to believe that either the foundation itself, something shifted, something's not right, and or the flooring system is about to separate from the house too. The attic looked fine. The rafters looked fine. I didn't see a lot of, rotted wood throughout. Obviously, where there's holes in that roof, yes. But there's a lot of it that is salvageable. Same with the floors. When I went in the crawl space to look at the joist, it really just looked like the subfloor received all of the damage, I guess, from the water that's came through the roof. But I also couldn't get all the way under because the ductwork's bad. You've got old piping down there. Like, there was no way for me to really maneuver throughout. Electrical, it's gonna have to be redone completely. And I would say potentially plumbing, just because, like I said, those pipes, I don't know how long it's been since the water's been on, and they're the old pipes.
Water still on?
I don't know. The only thing I can normally check is the power, because I have a phone number for EPB. It's hard to get through with Tennessee American Water. I didn't try to turn anything on, just that
It's
wasn't
been
my
vacant
scope.
for years, right?
Yeah, so I would say no.
Non-payment.
Power's not on, so.
That's all we've
Yeah,
done.
they only give you 2 months.
Well, this is the one that the property tax hadn't been paid also, right?
That's right. It's gonna go on back tax, I wanna say 2025 possibly,
So with no owner,
but pause, there's more.
oh, yes,
It's crazy. So, before I did this inspection, I had an attorney reach out, and it's with Spears and Moore. I'm not necessarily sure what firm they're with. I think Litchford might know, because I called him about it too. Basically, she's also with Hamilton County, and she deals a lot with, like, the probate and stuff. She had a client, I don't necessarily know who it was, reached out, interested in this house, and wanted to know what route, we've taken, if there was owners, what y'all's decisions were, et cetera, because they're wanting to buy that. So I was informed. Don't know how true it's going to be, don't know where it's gone now, but I was informed that she was going to try and get it into probate court in hopes to allow this client of hers to purchase the property and fix it.
What's gonna be the value of the house compared to the repairs?
That was my next question.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get wrapped up into another situation where we have a property sitting and it's already been sitting for years, but now we know how bad it is.
That and how much longer is it gonna sit? That's what my question is. Is it bad? Yes. I've seen much, much worse. I'm kind of 50-50. I don't necessarily think it should be demoed, but also I don't want it to sit any longer because then it's gonna have to be demoed if it undergoes any more damage.
Is it, well, I guess we need to find out the value of it, but it's currently under condemnation, isn't it? Okay.
And it's secure. The front door, it's blocked with a piece of plywood and it had a lock on there. We did have to obviously bust that off to get inside, but we did go ahead and screw it back shut. So it is secure, nobody can get in. There was no signs of anybody trying to tamper with it or get in anyways. And I would have had calls about it because I've had calls about it before. Not somebody getting in, just the house sitting like it is.
This client, per the Spears and Moore attorney group, going through probate, this client, did they say if it was a cash purchase possibility, or is it gonna go through a bank? I'm just thinking of prior situations that we were going through here.
Can they do that? Do you know?
I mean, so one, I'm not aware, I'm not familiar with this
Okay.
particular property or discussions with an attorney at Spears Moore. As far as, what was your specific
The
question?
question is, the client coming forward wanting to get this house through probate or interest in if they were wanting to buy it for cash or go through a bank, because I know that has a difference in it being under condemnation. No one's gonna give someone a home.
No one's gonna give lending
No,
for it.
no,
Not from a bank. You might get a private lender to do
right.
it, but.
Which could,
Um,
again, tie this up on this body for
even
longer,
more.
and that's
So
what we don't wanna do.
Hypothetically, I think I can guess who this attorney is if she's at Spears Moore and does probate work. If she's not a county employee, but she does the court-appointed administrator work. If you pass away with no heirs, the court will appoint a lawyer to administer your estate. And so she's probably saying that she can get the court to appoint her as the administrator of this deceased property owner's estate, since the city cannot find any next of kin. And that would give her the authority to work with that buyer that has contacted her about it. How long that takes, I don't know. If we called the probate clerk right now to get an appointment to open a probate estate, it's probably gonna be late April to May before we can get in there, absent some sort of emergent circumstance.
And that's if she does have someone in hand.
Go on 6 or 8 months.
Maybe
Brought it to the ground.
I just looked up the building value too. It's
Which the boss one?
78,700.
You said 78,000.
700, yes, ma'am.
Cost that much to fix it.
Well, never know. But yes, possibly.
Does this probate issue tie our hands some? No?
I don't think so. I mean, no one's here to,
Okay, good.
I mean, even if there were an active estate open, it does not necessarily tie this body's hands. If there were an active estate open, our office, the city attorney's office, would certainly recommend contacting the attorney of record for the estate, just so that they are aware of the actions that this body's taking, the actions this body is contemplating taking. But there appears to be no open estate. Unfortunately, at this hour, I can't confirm that, and this body won't be in session tomorrow morning when I can.
so would it be possible, hypothetically, to go ahead and potentially get bids for demo and pass for another month for anyone to come back or push, get the 3 bids? Would we need to meet again after getting the bids for demo?
Not if
To
you push it
set
to the
it.
next meeting.
When did you say they contacted you?
Yeah.
Couple of weeks?
Our last meeting, I would say.
So you would assume that they've been working on it?
I was under the impression they were going to. I can always give that person a call and ask and see what the status is, or if you guys want to, you might know her a little better than
Do
me.
you have their name? You don't have the name on top of your head?
No, I thought I asked her, but when I wrote it down, she talked so fast and we just kinda got into it, I never got it, so.
If we passed it for 30 days, do you think if that person is interested, or this attorney, that she would come to this and tell us the progress that's been made? Maybe that she has an appointment time or something?
I mean, hopefully.
Right.
Right. And so procedurally, that's perfectly fine. And again, if this body elects to pass it 30 days and an attorney, a probate attorney from Hamilton County shows up with a client or a representative, or a buyer that this estate is going to sell it to, and the buyer has these plans, I'm sure you guys are gonna want to see those plans, not just hear them spoken. But, if the attorney's here and can attest to the commission that they will not get the opportunity to undertake those plans until May because of the way, the backlog that we have.
Right.
I would probably take that attorney's word that they're telling you the truth because they're up here before a body somewhat under oath,
Right.
That, and before considering demo, you've got to think, if there's no owner, I was just thinking the difference between, is it gonna cost more to repair than half the value? Then, what, $39,000, thereabout?
They're gonna have to get somebody under there to really crawl through to look at all the joists in the foundation. They're gonna have to replace all those exterior load-bearing walls. I wouldn't even say replace, maybe go down to your framework and just fix what's rotted and then re-sheet rock and go from there. That can still get costly. It depends on how much time and money they have, really.
It also looked like siding and windows.
Oh, yeah.
Because at this point, it has to be brought up to code.
30% of the building value, yes. The entire structure has to be brought up to current code.
I'm so sorry, I'm just talking this through.
It's okay.
Even if we had a buyer here today going, okay, I'm gonna buy this property, blah, 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 they still have to get it up to code for it to come off of our, so even at that point,
And so even at,
it's still,
necessarily interject in
No.
the deliberations, but even at that point, if the buyer were here today and said that they had a contract to buy the property, the buyer is still subject to
yes,
the applicable codes. And so the buyer hypothetically is going to buy this property, most likely subject to having to bring it up to current code, if not, having to demo it. I think the prudent, and I ask myself this not as a home rehab person, why would someone make that financial decision? And so maybe the prudent thing is, let's get estimates to review in 30 days. We can try to figure out who that was at Spears Moore. I've got a feeling I know who it was. If not, we'll just call every female attorney there. And just let them know, this is what this body is contemplating doing. Out of professional courtesy, we're reaching out to you to let you know this. We want to hear what you're, and you need to understand, if this buyer goes through with this is what this buyer's looking at. The minimum requirement in the code is to bring it up to code. And I think it's very reasonable to assume that it's gonna take 30% of the gross value of this property to rehab that house.
at least.
I don't think it's unreasonable to assume that it's gonna take 50% or more and that it's gonna be required to be raised. And I would hope that a real estate investor would make that sort of mental calculus before they purchase a property. And when we come back in 30 days, we've got the estimates for demo, and hopefully, at that point, they will have a probate estate and know whether they're gonna try to buy it or not, is how I would hope that works out.
we would need to put that in the motion, though, that those things need to align. I just don't want another situation, I believe it was Connell, where we were set to demo and he sold it, and the poor guy was,
That one was Oakdale.
and I just, yeah, I just don't want to see that happen again with this one, because I just don't see how it can be made up to code the right way, you know?
Basically, you can make the motion that we get 3 estimates for the demo, and allow 30 days for codes to get in touch with the attorney to find out what their intentions are. Getting the bids, shall we say, estimates, does not mean we're tearing it down. It means we are getting the price to get it done. We would have to make the decision in 30 days if we were gonna go ahead and follow through. But we would already have this step done.
Right. Advise, okay. Would anyone like to put that in the form of a motion? Or is that your motion?
Yeah, let me say it again.
No, I think Melissa's got it.
I make a motion that we get 3 estimates on having demo done, and come back on the April 10th meeting and decide if that's what we are going to do, which
Okay.
allows codes 30 days to get a hold of the attorneys to find out their intentions.
Before I second, you were gonna send a courtesy.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's Cassie Reeder. I know she does a lot of probate work, she's at that firm, but we'll get started on that, tomorrow. I mean, I'll just work with Tori and we'll get started on that immediately.
That said, I would second that motion.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Ezell, Commissioner Sherrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, last on the agenda is 1029 South Seminole Drive. This is the update on progress of the demolition order from February 14th. Do we have someone present? Hi. If you could please state your name for the record, please.
Betty Louise Meadows.
You said Betty?
Betty Louise Meadows.
Okay. So, we've had several meetings in regards to this property. What's going on?
I've been very sick with RSV, and now I've got a broken collarbone, a broken sternum, and a dislocated left shoulder.
So sorry to hear that.
So am I.
So what are we doing to correct the issues with,
I didn't know
This
I had a
second
time
house.
limit on the house, as long as it's not rented and secured. I didn't know I had a time limit on it.
do you have the orders that Tori
I
gave you?
cleared up the yard. The yard work's all been done. The yard's been kept clean and neat and proper. That's all been done. I took out over a whole dumpster, almost a dumpster and a half of stuff that was inside the home, because it was a rental. The damage that's been done to the floor, it's got to be done first, and to the subflooring, it's got to be, some of the floor joists has got to be replaced, and then redo the entire floor as far as I'm concerned. And then a new roof. The house is salvageable. I don't understand why you want to demolish my home.
Because we're concerned about the structure.
Well, the floor needs to be, it needs to be fixed, it does. The floor needs to be fixed. But that
had
house was
this-
trashed by a renter, she wouldn't let me inside my home. She changed the lock on my home, and during COVID, I couldn't even go to court to even get her evicted. So until that court's opened back up and she realized I was gonna go see Judge Starnes and have her evicted, she decided to leave. And she left me a mess.
And when did this first come in front of us, Tori, if you don't mind? Okay, and this is March.
March, yeah. Yes, it is.
So-
I'm not a wealthy woman. I'm a disabled woman. I've been disabled since I was 31 years old. I've had 10 spine surgeries. I'm fixing to have a 11th one, unfortunately. And then I've got to wait to have this fixed in 5 months. I've got to let it heal as much as it's going to heal because they're afraid that they will splinter off a bone into my heart.
I do understand that, ma'am, but have you had contractors come out to look at this issue
I know,
in
but
this rental home?
Yes.
Do you have any reports from any contractors
No, but I
with
can
prices?
I can get them and bring them back in a month. And I plan on bringing my attorney with me when I come back then.
Okay, that way we can find out what your intentions are, because
I
since-
intend to redo the home, but I have to do it at my pace. I can't work at y'all's pace. I have to do it at mine and my financial pace. I've been very sick.
Order a structural engineer.
You did.
And what month was that in? We've
I have to go back.
held this out for months.
The orders have been sent certified mail, regular mail. They've been posted on the structure. There's a demolition in order that's supposed to be for Friday. I posted the notice for that and a red notice on the garage door that says that this property is set for demolition on March 15th of 2024. I've yet to hear from anybody until on Monday when I sent EPB out to drop the lines on the house that was apparently attached to an accessory structure. Might I add you, that is being utilized as a dwelling unit that is not supposed to be utilized as a dwelling unit. So therefore, here we are. You have mine?
No, I don't. But you did come.
It's on the notices. It's been posted. It's not my job to contact you for a property when you get everything and I've signed green cards back from that. You didn't come in here and say anything until I sent EPB out to drop the power, and the garage is on the driveway
That's
that
not
goes.
a garage.
The garage that's on the house. That's what I'm talking about. The garage that's on the house.
Okay.
You pass it when you go to your house. That's on the top of the hill, correct? Okay, so there's notices that are on that garage door constantly that you can see. So therefore, I don't feel like I need to reach out because I've done my due diligence by sending it to you registered mail, regular mail, and I've posted it on the structure, on the property.
The only registered mail that I've gotten from you is the package with all the pictures. And I went to the post
Can I
office.
see your keys for a second?
I went to the post office and signed for that. I've gotten other letters from you that I've received in my mailbox, but they weren't registered. That's the truth. I've signed for one registered mail at the post office.
September 13th.
Yes, this was condemned September 13th. And then we made, after
I didn't know it was ever condemned in
or
September.
November,
I did not. I did not know.
October, November, December, January, February. So 5 months, we had show cause and request.
And I had
come
RSV for
forward.
4 months. You know, it's very contagious, and I wasn't allowed to be around anybody other than the doctors.
Were you able to call or send an email or a text or maybe send another representative that was staying there?
I
at
live
the-
alone other than my dog.
Well, okay, so.
And then when this happened,
This.
I have been on a lot of medication, which I didn't take, so I could come here today. Severely injured. I'm not even supposed to be sitting up because they're afraid is going to slither a bone because this has got a big gap in it and go to my heart. That's the reason I can't even have surgery now because they're afraid of that. And I don't understand the urgency when there's no water standing, there's no grown-up.
It's a potential
Grass.
nuisance property. It's been sitting in front of us. So, there's so many risks
What
to
is
the
the
public.
nuisance about the property, is what I'd like to know. Whom is it harming?
And let Tori continue on. I'm sorry.
So here's the initial packet that was sent, correct? Signed green card. Here's some that were not claimed. Here's 2 more. I don't necessarily know which order it goes to because everything just compiled in this folder. An order, I'm assuming, was signed for 2 separate occasions. 11/1 of 23 and 11/16 of 23. It says C. Meadows.
That is not my signature. I would never sign my husband's signature that way. This is my, I signed for the packet. See this? That's my signature.
All right, Ms. Meadows, look up front. My name is Michael Holloway. I'm with the city attorney's office. I just want to confirm one thing. That packet right there that has the initial citation and the description of what is wrong with your property.
Yes, I know what's wrong with it.
You
yes.
just said you got notice of it and signed for it.
I signed this one, yes.
So you are on notice.
Yes, I knew that.
You've been put on notice as to
Yes.
what is wrong with the property.
Yes, sir.
So sitting here today claiming that you don't know what is wrong with the property is
did not say
incorrect. You
that.
just
I
said
did
that less than 5 minutes ago,
Well,
ma'am.
I take that back. I apologize, sir.
So you
What
are
I'm
on
saying
notice.
is,
So
what I'd like to
Miss
know-
Meadows, please let me finish, and then you may speak, all right? So you have been put on notice of the issues that this commission has identified with your property. Is that correct?
Can I speak now?
It's a yes or no question,
I
ma'am.
did not know this was from the commission.
Did you read it? You've been given an opportunity. It's not the commission's fault if you
It was
fail to
from
read it.
her, from the codes officer. I thought it was from her, the codes officer, not the commission. I didn't know the commission had such powers to destroy people's homes.
It's the city of East Ridge.
Commission of East Ridge.
The commission just upholds the codes of East Ridge.
I understand that. So,
I wanna
And
go
we're
back.
citizens just like you are.
I've been here 42 years. I don't want to live here anymore. I promise you that.
Ms. Holder, did you mention a second ago that they're using the garage for a dwelling unit?
Yes, sir.
Is that a habitable building?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir. I have not. My
Have you
scope
been to the
be in
structure
was
to
the
see
front.
where it was posted from Tori? All of these months that she's been going out, checking on progress, checking.
I didn't know she was on the property. She never drives to the top of the hill.
So, but did you see the posting on the door of this?
There's one that's hanging upside down, ma'am. It's a big, long one. I know that the house was condemned the day that she came to the home. We discussed it the day she came to the home, the first time.
Are there other people at that address besides yourself?
Yes. They don't live in with me in my home? No, sir. No, ma'am. They don't
So
live
where are
with
they
me.
living if this structure is inhabitable?
They don't
and
live in that
condemned?
structure, and they don't live where she just cut the power off either anymore.
So are they
live
living in the
But hold on,
garage?
Miss Mahoney, was it not on Monday that we were told that we cut the power to the accessory structure that was an apartment that somebody was living in?
And he had to move out. He can't stay there with no power, baby. He can't take a hot or a cold shower. He went to move with his friends. Jeez. What is he supposed to do? But there's been power to that garage since 1990. And it's not a garage. It's up on one end. You're going to demolish my house? Tell me now so I can call my attorney in the morning and tell him what paperwork he needs to draw up.
I have pictures, I can print them if I need to. January 22nd, I went and posted the order, or one of the orders on the property. February 23rd, I went and posted the demolition order, alongside of the notice that it was going to be demolished on Friday. December 18th, I posted the previous order for that, and also that condemnation was on there in October. And I think at that point, that is when we started actually posting it, because we were not getting the parties in to do show cause.
So you live in your home. There are other people potentially at this address living in outbuildings or inhabitable spaces,
Not
correct?
anymore since the power's been cut.
Okay.
And it was not an inhabitable space. It's a one-bedroom.
Okay.
Okay, I make a
We have a
motion, we
motion.
modify the demo order to April 1st. That allows you 10 days to appeal it.
I'll get my attorney.
Which goes in front of city council? The appeal, Mr. Holloway?
I'm not in a position to give legal advice
No, I'm saying-
to someone outside that's not this city. The proper appellate procedures, ma'am, should this body take action to demo your property, are found within the city code of East Ridge. So you need to have your attorney look there, okay?
Robin Flores will be doing it.
So we are going to pass this. No, we're not passing it. We are
I'm
amending
making a
it.
motion to modify the
Thank you.
demo to April 1st, which allows
Robin Flores
Ms.
to
Meadows
to
time to
do
appeal
the
this.
paperwork.
So that makes it April 1st for demo, correct? So understand that on
I'm-
April
I'm-
1st, a crew will be at your address to demo.
I totally understand, and that's the route that y'all have to take, but I think Mr. Flores will take care of it before then. I have a lot of courage in him,
Courage or faith?
faith and courage. Faith,
we
courage,
have-
strength. Robin Flores is a good person.
Okay, so we have a motion to change the demolition order for April
Okay,
1st,
that's
2024. Do we have a second on that begrudgingly?
I'll second.
Thank
We
you.
have a motion and a second to give you until April 1st. The demo crew will be at your address.
Okay, okay. I'll
Okay.
be right there too.
And I would encourage, I have other questions that I'll digress, but I would encourage not having anyone in an inhabitable space at your address.
I know.
EA, any outbuilding,
There's no
whatnot.
outbuildings there, ma'am. There's no outbuildings with
It's
anybody
accessory
living there.
structure, Miss Davis, if you want the proper name. It's
Okay,
probably-
so, but,
There's nobody living anywhere with no electricity. I don't have any outbuildings that
okay,
anyone's living in.
just to be clear for the record.
I'm just, you can come and check tomorrow. There's no one living in an outbuilding. I don't have an outbuilding. No outbuildings in my home.
Well, we have a motion and a second. Okay.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheryl,
Yes.
Commissioner Souter,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, I think that is all for those. Do we have any comments, communication, correspondence from the board for discussion prior to adjourning?
Is, one question, the South Seminole House, is that not the one that we just had a drug bust at?
Yeah,
That's why I was
Just check.
I was
that we
trying
have
to
multiple
circle.
warrants for constantly for stolen motorcycles and parts, and they just busted them for kilos worth of methamphetamine. Yes, that's correct.
I was trying to circle around that there are people there. It's a nuisance. I just didn't have a leg there to communicate that.
She's not gonna understand the legal definition of a nuisance.
That's why it's almost like Larry
But-
Watkins all over again.
But again, just to be clear, since September,
That property, but we've cleaned it up.
when we first took this up and everything was piled in the yard, and all your trips up there, no one knew that someone was living in the separate
Garage.
structure.
I really did not know.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the garage?
That was not in my scope when I did my
Okay.
inspection, right? So like, I only went for the house because I never saw anybody, and at that time, it was going good. Like, they were doing what we needed. I had that little bit of communication, and then it just went downhill. But no, I never suspected anybody.
But the
living
drug bust, were they at her house, in the rental house, or in the garage?
in the garage.
So does the garage need to be looked at for demolition, condemnation? I mean, if it's not actual living space,
That's probably something for the next meeting.
it's
Because
addition to the
If it's an
nuisance.
accessory structure, was it erected without a dwelling, or without a permit?
It's been there for a while. She tried to argue with us Monday that they got a permit back in '03, and we
So-
don't allow that.
Do we have a way to inspect permits issued from 21 years ago?
No.
Do we have those paper or electronically anywhere?
We only have to keep them for 7 years.
So there's no way to establish that it's actually permitted or not. If one is is there a continuing, so there's no continuing obligation?
No.
So hypothetically, someone could get a permit to erect an accessory structure on their property.
Yes, you can get a permit for an accessory structure. You cannot use it as an apartment.
Correct.
Can't be
but-
habitable.
That's what she said. She had a permit for them to live there, is what I should have made that clear.
Okay.
But then that would be on tax
Which-
record, because
You-
yeah.
Permits were not given out for apartments on a structure, on a piece of property. It just wouldn't be done.
And we can go off of RC, IBC, whatever you wanna look at, what is considered a habitable dwelling. And if it doesn't meet those requirements, therefore it's not a
Right.
habitable
I
dwelling.
don't think
Well,
it
at this
would
point, there will be no power,
No,
which the only way they could have power again is to build a new service and permit through the office, which would be then shut down, right?
because you would need to go inspect the dwelling prior to getting power. So how did it get power? Well, it had power because it was a garage. It
They
was an
wired it off the,
outbuilding. Yeah.
off the main
Yeah.
house.
the meter was on the structure that's in the middle of demolition, and they ran that line to the garage.
That can't be safe.
So when when I emailed them on Monday, because we already had this set up to go out and drop the power, they called me because of it being connected to that accessory structure. And I talked to Mr. Howe to see how he wanted to proceed with that. And he told me to go ahead and drop the power because nobody should be living in there anyways. And then it came to light that there were people living in there.
And that's what got the lady out of the house.
That's correct.
And
Because they
before
had
her
no
coming
power.
in, I mean, all of this, if she would have shown up in October with a contractor and said, yeah, it's gonna take $10,000, it's gotta fix this floor, and we're good to go, all of this could be avoided. But I think it's gonna kind of fix itself with the crime issue and the nuisance, and so, wow.
And the only reason why I asked you about the appeal is because it's in that order, but I just didn't know like who I had to go to first, but.
And I'm not gonna give her a free bone either.
Well, and that's why I asked, I was like, well, she had the opportunity to appeal it and go to council, but if she's saying she didn't get that order and she wasn't notified,
I followed every single ounce of satisfied service that I could do.
And I believe there was did someone physically appear on behalf of this property?
Never.
Initially?
never.
Because I thought we had determined that Mr. Meadows was deceased.
We did.
He
Right?
told me he was.
Then who's signing his name? And if no one else lives there, she said she lives alone with her dog,
That's a smart dog.
and if he, that's right, Jeff. And so if she lives alone, who's signing C. Meadows on that?
I would assume everybody in this accessory structure that we didn't know was there.
Well, not for long because they've been arrested, so maybe
So that,
not.
I mean, I think what we did tonight,
Yeah,
because that
it
eliminates I think that safely eliminates the concern that she may not have gotten notice because her tenants are hiding her mail. But she showed up here tonight. She was put on notice that it's been changed. She has 10 days to appeal it.
All right. If there's nothing else, we're adjourned. Okay, thank you.